עתידו של האסלאם איננו סיפור של הצלחה, אלא דווקא סיפור של שקיעה. כותרת המשנה של הספר, מדוע אירופה והאסלאם נעלמים. ספרו של דיוויד גולדמן יצא עתה לאור בתרגום לעברית בהוצאת ספרים חדשה סלע מאיר. האיסלאם, אומר לנו המחבר, היא ציביליזציה שוקעת, כאמור גוועת.
We have a catastrophic demographic decline in the Islamic countries, the fastest decline in fertility and birth rates recorded in human history. And this has enormous strategic implications for the United States, Israel, and the stability of the Middle East.
What are the implications for the future of Islam, for the future of Europe, Christian Europe?
Well, Islam is a declining civilization.
Declining?
It's losing power, it's losing confidence in itself. And I think the key examples are two Islamist states, Turkey and Iran. In Iran, the average Iranian has 6 brothers or sisters, comes from a family of 7, but will only have an average of 1.5 children per family. So what that means is in 25 years, as the big generation of today gets old and there are no children to follow, there will be 3 Iranians working supporting 2 elderly dependents. In a poor country, that's an economic catastrophe. It's never happened before, and it means an extreme decline. Turkey is only slightly behind Iran.
What are the implications for our generation?
Well, there are different implications depending on what we look at. For example, 20 years ago, the conventional wisdom in Israel was that the Arab birth rate would swamp the Jewish birth rate. Yasser Arafat bragged that the Palestinian womb would conquer Israel, and that was a key element in Israeli thinking. This has clearly changed. Now there's been a convergence where the Arab birth rate has come down from 6 to 3, and the Israeli birth rate has risen to 3. I believe that the Arab birth rate will continue to come down because anytime you educate Arab girls, send them to high school and university, you get a sustained drop in birth rate. So I think it will probably settle around 2. That means for Israel, the Jewish majority will be there for a very long time as far as these trends can be projected.
In the state of Israel or in the area between the River Jordan and the Mediterranean Sea?
Between the river and the sea, there will be a Jewish majority.
When?
For the next generation at least, and then we have to see what the trends indicate. But I think, if anything, the trend will be more in favor of Jewish fertility, because I think Arab fertility will continue to decline for the same cultural reasons we've seen in many Muslim countries. This has obvious strategic implications. The American Secretary of State, John Kerry, keeps warning about a demographic time bomb. He's wrong. The facts contradict him. There's no support for that statement. That means that there's no extreme urgency to do anything at the moment. From a demographic standpoint, I think Arabs and Jews can take their time about considering diplomatic arrangements.
Are you base your implications, base your conclusions on data?
Yeah, absolutely. You have very clear data from now from the U.S. Census Bureau, from the United Nations Population Survey, from Central Intelligence Agency, World Factbook. Yoram Ettinger has done a very good job of collecting this, but there's no question, I think it's undisputed now, that there's been convergence of Jewish and Arab birth rates. That's one strategic implication. For Israel, it means that the demographic time bomb argument made sense 20 years ago but doesn't make sense now, and some people have been a little bit late in catching up to the facts. I don't mean to criticize anybody, but the facts are what they are. In the case of Iran, very different story. Iran is a country looking at national decline of a kind that's never happened to any country before. Many countries have had demographic declines. Greece under Alexander, the Roman Empire. It's not a new thing, but never so fast, never in a single generation. So Iran has the last big generation of Shiites that it will ever have. If it does not assert its power now, it will never have the opportunity to do so in the future. So Iran has a demographic time bomb. In Turkey, that was supposed to be the great example of political Islam. You know, have a a war between two factions of Islamists, between the Erdogan AKP and the Gulen movement, which has led to a collapse of the Turkish currency, probably to a collapse of the Turkish economy. Well, this is the really interesting thing. Turkey is not so much a country, it's like the stage of a theater that peoples pass through. There aren't that many Turks in Turkey. They have many national minorities. The Turks, people whose mother tongue is Turkish, breed like Europeans. But the Kurds, who are now 20% of the population, are having 4 children. So in one generation, half the young men going into the army will come from homes where Turkish is the mother tongue. And the implications for Turkey's political stability are terrible. Erdogan has been warning about this as a dire, catastrophic event that's looming in the Turkish future. So I think Turkey ends up as an economic tributary of China. Not as an independent power, not as an important country with a great economy, but as part of the broader sphere of Chinese economic influence, much diminished, much less important than Turkey would like to be.
So civilizations are dying?
Civilizations have always died. The only civilization west of the Himalayas that hasn't died for 3,000 years is Israel.
I thank you very much, Mr. David Goldman.
It's been an honor to talk to you. Thank you so much.
עניין אחר, או כמעט אותו עניין, האוכלוסייה הנוצרית במצרים, כלומר העדה הקופטית, תחוג את חג המולד שלה בעוד 10 ימים. בקרב הקופטים במצרים